Hey everybody, we are here today with Loren Oldenburg representing the 96th Assembly District and running for re-election to represent that new district. Thank you for coming and answering the Chamber's questions.
No problem. Thank you for having me, and it's always been a pleasure to come here to the Chamber and see what's going on in the La Crosse Chamber.
Absolutely, thank you for coming. So the first question, tell us about yourself and why you're running for State Assembly for re-election.
I'm Loren Oldenburg. Like you say, I'm running for re-election. I've been been in the office for the last 6 years, and I feel my job is not done down there as far as working with Chamber members, events, constituents, as far as that. So that's the reason why I'm running for re-election. I do enjoy my job, and Madison gets frustrating at times because things work very slow down there. But helping out constituents, people in Western Wisconsin is something I'm looking forward to continuing doing.
Absolutely. Second question is, tell us about the district you're running to represent. So you've represented this district before. Now it's changed a little bit, includes La Crosse. Tell us about that.
Well, like you said, it changed before. It went from all the way down from Prairie du Chien all the way up to Oakdale, Toma area, long distance, couple hours time. Now it's changed to all of Vernon County, all except Viola and DeSoto villages, in the southern half of City of La Crosse, town of Shelby, town of Greenfield. So the district has not shrunk in size as far as people, but area as far as going. So my farm is right outside of Chaseburg, so I feel like La Crosse and La Crosse County parts that I have are like home. You know, I'm within a 20-minute drive. I farm right outside of Chaseburg, like I said, on a fourth-generation farm. So the district makeup definitely went from strictly rural. My biggest village or town or municipality before was Prairie du Chien at 5,600 people, and now the southern half of City of La Crosse is like 17,000. You know, so that brings in new challenges, which I'm looking forward to doing. Some urban issues that I've not had to address at the level that I needed before, but I'm looking for that challenge, and to make where I can help out at the state level on certain issues that affect the city of La Crosse and Shelby. It's a suburb of La Crosse, so they have a lot of similar issues also.
Yeah.
So,
thank you for that. The next question we have is, what do you think the biggest issue is facing the La Crosse area and the business community? And you can talk about statewide or it's something specific to La Crosse.
Well, I think it's still employment.
Yeah.
It's the number one issue. I mean, I go down to Timbers a lot and know the owners very well, and they're having a hard time keeping cooks. And that's not the only restaurant out there that's still having that issue. And talk to any business out there, they're still struggling to get employees in the door and keeping them.
Yeah.
So that is, I still believe it's a issue that has to be addressed. It's been going on for a long time. I do not have a golden answer for that, what we can do. Wages are increasing, but that also puts pressure on business because it all comes out of consumers' pockets.
Yep.
And so how high can they push their customers to pay for what their services are on wage inflation and other inflation that's affecting the business. So I think we're maybe we're at the peak of inflation and customer or employee inflation or all inflation.
Yep.
Maybe we're going to level off and see where we're at, but it's going to take time to catch up.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, and I think that still is the number one issue that we're dealing with, as far as, and you can lead into healthcare and housing and all that kind of stuff too. But I think that is the number one issue that business owners are struggling to operate their business because of lack of employees.
I agree. And you touched on a little bit of the next question. So the cost of healthcare, housing, and childcare are some of the largest issues facing our local employees and employers. How would you help decrease these everyday costs? You touched on inflation, but it seems like everything is a little more expensive.
Correct. I just talked to some realtors, a couple days ago, and a small 1,500 square feet house costs $300,000 to $500,000. So young couples, young individuals can't go out and afford a house. Rent, but then we have a lack of renters or lack of space for be able to rent. So all issues that we've tried to address in the last budget, as far as some grants for Main Street housing, upstairs if you got a business downstairs and you can renovate upstairs, some grant money there. And I think we have to continue that. We have, just found out a few days ago, we have a $4.6 billion budget surplus,
Yep.
which we've been trying to deal with for the last 2 years. I think that's going to be our number one priority going into the next session, and it has to be our number one priority.
Yeah.
So some of these issues that we maybe can address on childcare, healthcare, and housing, we got some extra dollars. We can do some of these grant programs. We put on the healthcare side, we put more money into reimbursement for Badger Care to the hospitals and other entities that actually use Badger Care for reimbursement. We'll have to address that also to maybe keep private health insurance costs flat, at least flat, not keep going up. But you talk to hospitals and healthcare providers, their expenses are all going up too, just because of what we talked about earlier about inflation and employees paying their workers. So it's kind of a cycle that we're in right now. But I think housing is something, I know Viroqua is building, low-income housing. Up north is doing right downtown. I see a lot of apartment going on in here in La Crosse. I think we have to continue that, make it somewhat easier, not easier, I would say, but somewhat for them to be able to get that housing available for these people like that. So I think that's something. Also, another thing that doesn't get addressed a lot is these vacation rentals in cities and stuff. Make sure they are licensed, because there's state statute out there right now that every one of these facilities got to have a license. You got to get licensed every year. It's got to get inspected through your local health departments. Make sure that's getting done, because I know Vernon County is really emphasizing that. I mean, make sure these vacation rentals are up to standards as far as that goes, but also it takes away from the housing availability when these vacation rentals are out there, especially in the communities.
Very true. So my last question here is, in an increasing polarized political climate, voters are concerned about the lack of civility and collaboration among elected officials. How would you work to foster a culture of respect and constructive dialogue within the state capitol? And how would you engage with constituents who hold opposing views to ensure their voices are heard?
Well, I've represented a 50-50 district, all along here. So once you're elected, you serve everyone, and that's what I've always done. You get to Madison, it's probably the biggest thing that's really I struggle when I see down there is lack of communication across the aisles. And I'm a person of my yeses are yeses and my noes are noes, and I don't leave all the other verbiage. I leave all that out of it, and that's what I continue to plan on doing going forward. It's a tough job as far as in the political world is different views, but we're here to listen.
Yeah.
And that's what I plan to do and continue to do, and I believe I've done that. And I've come up here. I have not represented the La Crosse area before, but I've always come here for the last 6 years. Number one, to learn. Number one, to help out where I can. Because you don't have to live in my district and you know me or think I can help you out. I'll do that. That's what we got staff for down there, and a few phone calls where I can help out. I'd love to do it and stuff like that. So I think Western Wisconsin, we are very fortunate. We do not have that box it out kind of mentality as one side, the other side. You maybe get some of the bigger cities, you see that. Some of my colleagues do on both sides of the aisle, see it in different cities. Like, I can think of all the doors I've knocked on this summer and this fall, maybe one or two said, get away from me.
Sure.
Other than that, they're very, people are very nice.
Very kind. Yeah.
They'll disagree with me. I can't vote for you, whatever. But they've been very nice, to me. Otherwise, that. So continue that. I think biggest thing is communication. That's with anything.
Yeah.
I believe that's your best opportunity to get rid of this political infighting or political fighting going back and forth. So.
Yeah, it seems like once you create a dialogue, there's.
It's hard. It's harder to fight. Yeah. And when you get to know someone on a personal level. And as far as back and forth, and it's harder. You can disagree, but you come away just being either friendly or friends afterwards. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming. I will turn it over to you. Thank you for coming to the chamber answering these questions, but I'll turn it over to you for a closing statement.
Well, we got 18 days left. It's been a long election cycle, especially with the new district, going out there and meeting people, introducing myself as far as that goes. But it's been enjoyable. And first of all, I want to thank the chamber for having me come and extend an invitation for the last 6 years, coming up to the events and chambers, their activities, and bringing us legislators in so we can sit down for an hour. We do it every quarter, whatever, on a form process. I think that's good for your chamber members, but it's also good for us to actually learn what the chamber needs. And always say when I come to events, you are my eyes and ears out there. Otherwise, I don't know if you don't mention that. So, but no, I look forward to serving you guys for the next 2 years on the state legislature. But biggest thing is, please get out and vote.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Loren Oldenburg, for coming today.
You are welcome.